Toyota couldn't afford for this third-generation Yaris to be an also-ran in the fast-moving Super Mini segment, so they've fundamentally revised it with smarter looks, extra safety equipment and a fresh 1.5-litre petrol engine option. A younger audience is being sought for this car, but even if its appeal extends no further than the young at heart, the brand will see that as a step forward in its efforts to broaden this model's appeal. This third-generation Yaris model has always sold well in its petrol-electric hybrid guise. Where the range has always been lacking, though, is in the provision of an affordable, efficient, conventionally engined variant able to provide a bit of extra performance and undertake the kind of longer trips the hybrid version feels less comfortable in attempting. The new 4-cylinder 1.5-litre petrol unit we're trying here attempts to plug that gap and sure enough feels usefully more responsive than the old 1.33-litre power plant it replaces. It's also decently efficient, managing 58.9 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and 109 grams per kilometre of CO2, figures you can improve further by opting for the extra cost multi-drive SCVT auto gearbox. We think this power plant is a much better bet than the line-up's entry-level engine, a rather feeble and only slightly more affordable 69 brake horsepower 1-litre 3-cylinder unit. As we said though, a very large proportion of Yaris buyers choose the hybrid model which, as before, gets Toyota's familiar hybrid synergy drive system serviced by a 73 brake horsepower 1.5-litre petrol-electric power plant and a bespoke engineered CVT auto gearbox. This combination works well around town, able to leave the car operating in electric-only mode for a significant period. Hence the possibility of achieving up to 85.6 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and up to 75 grams per kilometre of CO2. This variant struggles a little more when you put your foot down on the open road, but as part of the update changes, great efforts have been made to improve ride and refinement, making this an even more agreeable short journeying companion. At the other extreme sits the frantic 205 brake horsepower 1.8-litre supercharged GRMN hot hatch model, a variant with very different priorities in mind. If you're a typical Yaris buyer, you'll probably struggle to see the point of it. Though it's a long time since the Yaris has been seen as in any way youthful and extrovert, creating that kind of feel has been the objective here. Hip without being hip replacement? Perhaps that's a little cruel, but you get the idea. To create the required effect, the French team tasked with this restyle have redesigned both the front and the rear of the car with a greater emphasis on horizontal lines supposed to express a wider stance and a lower centre of gravity. The result is what Toyota describes as a more dynamic and emotional shape, intended to deliver what the brand hopes is something of a three-dimensional look. At the wheel, it's all a lot plusher and more interesting than it used to be. The cheap, glossy look that characterised early versions of this Mark III design has here been replaced by classy, grained textures, and there are also smarter, more interesting, colour-coordinated seat trims. The thicker three-spoke wheel's also new and comes complete with the buttons you'll need to operate the 4.2-inch colour TFT multi-information combi meter display that's been added between the two main dials in the instrument binnacle. That's a standard feature, providing you avoid entry-level trim, as is the Toyota Touch 2 infotainment system that, as before, dominates the centre of the dash. Now, it works via a large, high-resolution 7-inch colour touchscreen that can be operated with the kind of drag and flick actions that you'll be familiar with from your phone. Time to take a seat in the back. True, you can't comfortably carry 3 adults here for any real distance, but that's an unreasonable expectation in a car of this size. What's more important is that with knee room improved by these thin seat backs, a couple of 6-footers are pretty well catered for. They'll also enjoy more headspace than would normally be the case from a car of this class. That being thanks to 1,510 millimetres of exterior body height, enough to make this one of the tallest Super Minis you can buy. The headroom on offer is particularly impressive given the way that these rear seats are positioned a little higher than those in the front. As for rear luggage space, well, there's a 286-litre boot, extendable to 768 litres if you push forward the rear bench. So, how to sum up? Well, there are doubtless more engaging chapters in the Yaris story still to be written. But what's important is that the updates we've covered here have put this third-generation version back on track. Toyota, it seems, knows how to write a bestseller.